Welcome back to another edition of Titan Review. My name is Greg Norman, your host, and we're lucky as we are every week to have Chris Kolon, head coach at University of Detroit Mercy. And Chris, looking at the scoreboard, we didn't get a chance. We kind of watched the game in real time on stats, 16-10. And I'm not a believer in moral victories, but it's got to make you happy. So talk a little bit about the game on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's not a moral victory, but we do these games because we want to learn, and typically you can't practice at the speed you need to practice at to be successful in our situation. So playing teams that are going to play it as fast or faster than what we're going to see in conference has always been kind of one of the things that we do as a strategy. So I don't mind losing when we compete, and we compete at a high level. You get off a bus, we drive down day of, and you get a Big Ten opponent, and there's, it's a beautiful stadium, and eyes are wide on some of our newer guys. And, you step off the bus, you get out there, and, a Big Ten team, I think if we would have practiced there a little bit the day before, like more of a traditional approach to the situation, maybe that beginning 7-1 spread might have been a little bit closer, but it is what it is, and we are who we are, so we own it. And what I really like is the kids responded, and that's really what we need to learn. We found ourselves for a little bit. Ohio State did substitute some kids in, and we took advantage of it, but I'm real happy that those subs weren't in that long. And then for the bulk of the game, we really played kind of a 1v1 scenario. I will say that, their subs coming in is kind of what sparked us playing a little bit better and getting the score a little bit tighter. But, it was pretty close game going into half. And we had a pretty, what I think is a questionable penalty. Referees call what they call. But then we came out, had just an impressive stop on a man down defense, 60-second stop to a shot clock, and then we just kind of turned the ball over, and they scored. That seemed to be kind of more of the situation in the third quarter, and I feel like VMI was a game that we beat ourselves, but really to have Ohio State to come off it as a coaching staff to think, man, we can clean this stuff up. We're beating ourselves. It puts us in where we think we might be in a good spot for our conference. So again, it's college kids. You never know. We could come out this week and be different than that game, but we're going to try to do the best we can to continue to grow and be ready for this game on Saturday versus Mercer.
Cool. Couple questions. You played two Big Ten teams in a row. Give us, for the untrained eye, the difference between maybe what the Big Ten is and maybe what something like the ASUN, or even for that matter, the NEC that you're going into in 2025. Give us an understanding. Is it better players, deeper rosters? No, I'm being serious. What's
everything? Yeah. Come on. They have NLI money, right? They have, they got the big facilities. I don't necessarily, doesn't mean that there's a lot of good players out there, but there's the right players for every opportunity. But man, they've got really nice stuff. They've got five film. Ohio State has 5 film guys and different angles, and a beautiful stadium that's lacrosse only, and you've got kids getting paid to play lacrosse, right? Like that's a crazy thing to me. While they're getting, it's not development and education. It's kind of they're out there in a kind of a totally different mindset. So, yeah, it's really just an interesting thing. I don't, I try to think about what we can do to be the best we can be here. So I don't really worry about it, but they play fast. If you want my opinion on the Big Ten, just in general, I think where that was a very big league in terms of, size, the kids were just gigantic. I'm noticing that they're moving more to that ACC speed, kind of a medium-sized kid with just really, really fast, really, really skilled, really, really good decision-making. So that'll help us, and it kind of helps our guys that are kind of outlying areas. They haven't seen guys making decisions like that. And, what's cool is we're starting to see our guys match those decisions and play with it. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do here at Detroit. So, we're moving, I think, in the direction we need to move. Or it's been again, I don't think we've played that good since before COVID. So we've been talking about how we're going to dig out of this hole, and start, you dig a hole, and on the other side of it there's a hill, and like at some point we got to get even, and then we got to start climbing the hill again, and I'm hoping we're in that direction.
There seems to be a bit of a smile on your face when there might not have been a couple of weeks ago. Well, I'm saying an outward sign. So you obviously see there may be some light at the end of the tunnel.
Greg, and coaching, right? Like at this point, we're halfway through the season calendar wise, and I think as coaches now, there's a point where you kind of keep prepping them and you keep going, and you hand it off to these 18 to 22-year-old kids, and your life and your record and all that stuff kind of goes on them. And I think as a coaching staff, we kind of realize we're at that point. We've built what we can do, and we love the kids. We want to see what they can do, and I believe in them. And I just, when I see them making the decisions and growing into the positions and skills that I think they can have, it makes you feel good. I don't know how outcomes will be, but it's nice to see that development.
Okay, I guess the observation I'm making is you just seem a little happier, which means that your kids play. And the reason I asked the question,
I think I got, it's funny. I think I just got some sleep.
All right, that may be it too. The other,
I haven't been, when it's again, it comes back to I like that we didn't play the whole game, but I'm probably smiling because again, I think I think I know what the potential here is and what the cap is. And it's nice at times when that we've finally gotten back, where there were some moments that felt like Detroit moments, and I haven't felt that in a while. So yeah, that's why I'm proud. That's why I'm smiling.
And the reason I was asking about sort of the style of play, and I'm not necessarily talking about the facilities and budgets and those kinds of things. We had a chance to work the Michigan and Harvard broadcast on Sunday, and
nice.
And it went for was on Big Ten Plus.
Yep.
What I noticed from the field level, and obviously Harvard, 6-0 coming in, was going to take on a Big Ten team. But what I noticed about Harvard is that, again, not as big as maybe Michigan, but unbelievably faster.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, because Michigan has really gone out to find some kids that can fly. So to me, it looked much more PLL, MLL, sort of indoor than it might have been that sort of slogging game that was around maybe 10 years ago at the college level.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I had the chance to work North Carolina camp early this spring, and I worked closely with a lot of their players and got to meet a lot of them. And not much taller than me, and I'm not a tall man. So very, very skilled, very, very quick, and very, very good decision making.
I think maybe that has that box influence that's coming in, and it's much more part of the mainstay style than what it being. Obviously, 10 years ago, it's an anomaly to some extent. Yes, everybody had him. Certainly, Denver had him with Bill and with Jamie and some of that stuff. But the reality to it is, I think it's much more of a staple now, and maybe that's a good thing, because there are not a lot of contact sports where smaller guys can compete. So maybe that's a plus.
Yeah, and I think there's just kids. Kids are playing lacrosse a lot earlier. Like there's better coaching. Kids are getting it early. I think where there were pockets of it in the country at times, you take Long Island, right? Like got all Americans in college coaching, elementary, middle school, right? So we're starting to see better coaching all over the country. We're starting to see more kids, with and the coaching is one side. The other side is kids investing in themselves as athletes earlier, and lacrosse just keeps getting better and better and better, man. That's the other side. More kids are playing better, and talk about the PLL, NLL being on TV all the time. Kids are, and you got kids like Mikey Sowers that are just, he's not a big man, but he's one of the best players in the world. Yeah. And he's just great at skilled, fast, and makes great decisions.
Well, as we close the door on Ohio State, a good game, and at least maybe not scoreboard, but certainly the effort and the smile that brings to your face with what you're doing. You got Mercer coming to town on Saturday at noon, and talk briefly about that. And Ryan Dennehy, their head coach, is part of the old Michigan establishment, so there's some familiarity with not only the area, but certainly with UD.
Well, he's one of the smartest coaches. He's embraced technology, and I mean, talk about a guy that's always working, always trying to optimize his situation. So he's one of the best. I think, there's not a guy that could take he can take any team in the world and make them better. So he's a a great strategist and really a great tactician for the game. Probably one of the best around. So I think Mercer's very lucky to have him as a coach, and Mercer has some really great kids. I think some of their players are great. They got I think one of their long poles is probably one of the best kids in the league. They've got some great players, and they played some tough opponents and done a really nice job. We kind of look at that Mercer game last year as kind of we kind of spiraled after that. So because our program kind of went in a direction that we didn't like after just a brutal bus ride and some just bad circumstances, and it kind of set the tone for the year so in conference. So we're really hoping that we can set the proper tone this week, this Saturday at home, and we really value our home games and the environment that we can have. So we're looking to be as strong as possible, and it's a conference opponent. It's a worthy opponent for us, and we match up with them. We'll see who can come out ahead on Saturday. But we're looking forward to kind of building into the win category the best we can.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll catch you on Saturday. We look forward to a great game between Mercer and UD. Mercy at noon at campus. I always get this mixed up. 6 Mile and Livernois?
6 Mile and
McNichols, which used to be 7 Mile.
Oh no, 6 Mile. Oh, I just got it wrong. Oh my God, it's 6 Mile and Livernois.
Okay.
6 Mile and Livernois is the north-south one. I got it wrong. You screwed me up there.
It's 7 Mile in town. They actually have the official name, but that's been that way a long time.
We just say 6 Mile Brick Mile, man.
Yeah. Best of luck, and Chris, thanks for taking the time.
All right, thanks.